the sculler, the woodcutter, and the price of pride. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we have two remarkable, short parables that probe the very essence of wisdom, value, and the surprising places we find both generosity and true intelligence. They are cautionary tales that remind us to look beyond titles and wealth. The weight of knowledge. The scholar and the woodcutter. Our first story takes place on a quiet river. A distinguished scholar, a man whose mind was filled with books and degrees, found himself traveling by boat with a simple woodcutter. The scholar, puffed up with his own learning and viewing the woodcutter as uneducated, decided he should use this opportunity to amuse himself and perhaps subtly demonstrate his intellectual superiority. "My good man," the scholar addressed the woodcutter, his voice carrying a slight, patronizing tone. "Since we have a long journey ahead, how about we play a little game of riddles? We can wager some money to make it interesting." The woodcutter, a man of few words but sharp, observant eyes, looked up from his work. "Riddles, you say? Very well." The scholar, confident in his victory, then proposed the terms of their wager, terms that clearly revealed his condescension. "I am the educated one," the scholar declared. "So, if I ask you a riddle and you cannot answer it, you will owe me 5 silver coins. However, if you ask me a riddle and I cannot answer it, a highly unlikely event, I assure you I will generously pay you 10 silver coins." The woodcutter paused, considering the odds. A simple man risking 5 against a learned man risking 10. He merely smiled and agreed to the scholar's generous, yet arrogant, offer. The scholar intended to ask the first riddle, but the woodcutter beat him to it. He looked calmly at the professor and posed his question. A riddle born not from books, but from his knowledge of the world around him. The woodcutter asked, "What is it that weighs 1,000 pounds when it is in the river, but weighs only 10 pounds once it is brought to shore?" The scholar was immediately intrigued. He racked his extensive memory, searching through all his textbooks on physics, history, and natural science. He considered anchors, logs, stones, and river creatures. He pondered the effects of buoyancy and water displacement. He muttered formulas under his breath. He thought and thought. He grew restless. He thought until the sun began to set over the water, yet the answer remained stubbornly out of reach. It was simply yet utterly confounding. Finally, with a sigh of defeat and a painful swallowing of his pride, the scholar had to admit his failure. "I confess," the scholar said, reaching into his purse with a frown, "I cannot answer it. Here, as per our agreement, are your 10 silver coins." The woodcutter graciously accepted the coins and tucked them into his belt. The scholar, burning with curiosity and irritation, immediately demanded the solution. "Now, tell me, what is the answer? What object fits that description?" The woodcutter simply shrugged, reaching into his belt again. He pulled out 5 of the 10 silver coins he had just won and handed them back to the stunned scholar. To be honest, the woodcutter confessed with a warm, genuine smile, "I don't know the answer either." The scholar stared, dumbfounded. The woodcutter cheerfully added, "My apologies, friend, for not knowing the answer, but I believe I have still managed to earn 5 silver coins." The scholar, realizing he had been outsmarted not by knowledge, but by wisdom and cleverness, was left speechless. He had been so quick to value the woodcutter's intellect cheaply, but the woodcutter had correctly priced the scholar's pride. The priceless value of generosity. Our second story moves from the quiet of the river to the bustle of the city, exploring a different kind of calculation, the value of money versus the value of human dignity. A young woman, stylishly dressed and clearly accustomed to luxury, approached an elderly man selling eggs at a street stall. The old man's face was etched with the hardship of a difficult life. "How much are your eggs, old man?" the young woman asked, her tone somewhat demanding. The old man replied softly, "2 eggs for $1, miss." The young woman immediately saw an opportunity for a bargain, a small victory of negotiation. "I will take 4 eggs for $1, she declared, folding her arms. "If not, I will walk away." The old man looked at her, his eyes carrying a hint of weariness and quiet resignation. He looked around his stall, seeing how few customers he had seen all day. He knew his family needed the money. "Very well," Miss, the old man sighed, handing her the 4 eggs. "Take them. I hope this is a good start to the day, because I might not sell anything else." The young woman, beaming with satisfaction over her small bargain, took the eggs and walked away, feeling proud of her shrewdness. Later that afternoon, this same young woman met her friends at a lavish, exclusive restaurant for a grand meal. They ordered expensive wines and rich dishes, celebrating their friendship and their life of comfort. When the feast was over, the waiter presented the bill. The total came to $420. The young woman, wanting to display her generosity in front of her friends and the staff, casually placed $500 on the table and waved dismissively at the waiter. "Keep the change," she told the waiter without a second thought, leaving an $80 tip. As she stepped out of the restaurant, she never once paused to consider the stark contrast. She'd willingly given away $80, a sum large enough to feed the old man, as family for weeks do, a wealthy restaurant waiter, simply as an act of social performance. Yet, earlier that day, she had aggressively fought to take 50 cents from a poor, struggling farmer, viewing it as a moment of cleverness. The true measure, what do these 2 stories teach us? The first reminds us that true intelligence often lies not in accumulated knowledge, but in practical wisdom, humility, and the ability to think creatively. The scholar lost because he valued money, but the woodcutter won because he valued the scholar's pride. The second story tells us that true value is found in the application of our compassion. The young woman wasted generosity on those who didn't need it, simply to boost her own image, while showing callous disregard for the profound need of the elderly egg seller. True character, my friends, is revealed not by how much we know or how much we spend, but by how humbly we treat those we believe we are superior to, and how much kindness we offer to those who cannot repay us. Subscribe now. I hope these parables have prompted you to reflect on your own actions and priorities. If these stories about wisdom and value resonated with you, please take a moment to hit that LIKE button and let me know in the comments. Who is the woodcutter in your life who has taught you a valuable lesson in humility? We delve into philosophy, ethics, and timeless stories that challenge your perspective every single week. Don't miss out on the journey. Be sure to click that red subscribe button and ring the notification bell to join our community of wisdom seekers. Thank you for watching, and may you always recognize the true value in every person you meet.